So Glyston, how are you planning to marinate this?
It's just very simple. I'm going to be using generous amount of salt. First, I'm going to actually salt the flesh side and all the sides actually.
Do you think this should be marinated and kept for a day or two and then cooked, or we do marinate and straight away start cooking?
In fact, it's always good to do any braised meats that you marinate or other. I'm going to be doing like a brine where I'm going to be steeping my meat and going to be keeping it overnight. So it's always good to have any meat staying in the marination for at least 2 hours or maybe 6 hours if you have the time. But I'm going to be keeping it overnight, so it's going to be like more than 6 hours, and then I'm going to then place it on vegetables and just braise it for a while. Cool. So I've salted the belly. I'm going to then pepper it on the flesh side. So you got to keep rubbing it so that you've gone into.
And this crushed pepper, not like powdered.
Just crushed pepper. You don't have to score the meat, nothing. You just that you have to rub salt and pepper onto it. It kind of starts absorbing it, and that's it. So then I'm going to add a little bit of cumin powder on the fat side, all over.
I've seen people in Spain use cumin also. It's not just an Indian thing.
It's not an Indian. A lot of Moroccans use it.
Yeah,
a lot of
Moroccans. When I'd gone to Sevilla in Spain, they'd use cumin.
Yeah, cumin is a very basic ingredient. Like we have fennel on the Indian side. It's also used. We do not use a lot of fennel seeds, but we use the fennel bulbs. So which kind of we can use it on a carpaccio. You could probably use it on a salad. So cumin is also used a lot in the European cuisine. I'm going to be using a little bit of five spice. And then, of course, the bottle masala.
So this is the bottle masala.
Yep. A little bit of mustard again.
Oh, okay. This is freshly ground mustard?
Yeah. So that's the spice that I'm going to be adding to the belly. That's about it. You then.
So no sugar or anything like that?
No sugar.
One of my problems with roast porks or braised porks in Mumbai restaurants is Western one.
Correct.
They always tend to be slightly on the sweeter side.
In fact, I would prefer a pork going sweet. So which is why I'm going to be adding orange juice to it. So what happens is, it's.
As in, you're trying to make it sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I prefer the meat being a little sweet, like a duck. If you're doing, except your the buffalo and the chicken, you wouldn't want it sweet.
Yeah.
But duck going on a sweet note, a little bit on a sweet note.
Like heavier meats would be on a sweet note.
Heavier meats would probably be on a sweet note because, again, it kind of complements it. It works well with pork. It works well with duck. So which is why I'm not going to be using sugar in my spice mix, but I'm going to be using orange juice. And it also helps to tenderize the meat.
So that's an interesting tip, Glyston.
Yeah. So what you do is that prevents it from sticking to the pan, and it also adds a little body to the sauce.
So leeks, carrot,
leeks, carrot, celery.
Oh, I've seen you've even kept onion skin.
The skin doesn't matter, so it's just roughly chopped. Even I have not even peeled the carrot.
Wow. So
this is.
I hate chopping stuff, so that's.
This is just roughly chopped and just going to be complementing my sauce and preventing the meat from sticking.
But that's another great tip which I've learned today because I do a lot of grills because it's so easy to cook. But normally the fish or the chicken or the pork or whatever sticks to the tray. So I think that's. So rather than just using baking foil, I think this is a much better. Yeah. And the flavors will come in, right?
And the flavors, and it's more traditionally done. So, we stick to the basics and So very quickly, I'm going to be adding this. I'm going to be placing the belly.
I'm loving this Pro Chef series because I think I'm learning lots and lots of tips.
Thank you so much.
Like earlier, it was like me driving without going to driving school. But
it's always good to see what you actually end up eating on the table. Yeah, I'll be adding cinnamon, the whole spice.
Is this more an Indian influence or do Europeans also use it?
Europeans use it, yeah.
Europeans also use cinnamon.
Cinnamon again adds a little bit of sweetness to the pork,
more of natural sweetness.
Yeah, natural sweetness.
I love sweetness with cinnamon.
So we've so far used everything very natural. We've used our own ground spices and stuff like that. I'm going to be using star anise again. And of course, then I'm going to be adding rosemary.
I think rosemary and red meats also are.
Rosemary works.
It's a strong herb.
Correct. Yeah. But not too much of it for a belly like this.
It can be overwhelming.
It can be very overpowering, yeah. So
maybe
a little bit of thyme. A little bit of thyme, and then I'm going to be generously putting the beer, which we all love drinking, yeah. So that's the beer.
Any beer will do?
Any beer, in fact, the cheapest beer you get in the market.
Yeah.
I mean, you could use that. Yeah. And then I'm going to also be adding orange juice to this.
And this is chicken stock.
Yeah, this is the chicken stock, which again I'm going to be adding. So all of this stays. I mean, right now, if you have to have a look at it, I have.
Can I?
Yeah, sure. The meat, the meat is all supposed to be below in the liquid that I'm going to be braising it tomorrow in, and you can have the fat floating on top. That's cool.
So it's going to marinate like this for 6 hours.
For 6 hours, and then
And you've not used any like oil or coloring or flavorings.
That's what I mean.
Wow.
Belly. The best part about cooking with the belly is you don't need oil. You don't need butter.
It's oil-free stuff. It's absolutely
It's a big.
It's like my bacon hakka noodles. No oil, just bacon fat.
Absolutely, sir.
So it's going to braise for 5 to 6 hours.
For 5 hours, yeah.
Okay, and then I'm also trying to understand how a commercial kitchen works. So you braise it, and you're going to keep it in the freezer.
No. I'm after I finish braising it, I'm going to have it like I said. I'm going to be braising it at 180 for the first hour, and then 130 for the 4 hours at 130 degrees centigrade. So after which, once it's out of the oven, I'm going to let it rest in room temperature.
That's very important, right?
That is very important.
The resting of a meat after
at least a belly, because then you want a belly
in
an even shape also. So you want to rest it. You want all the juices to be trapped in the tray. You just want to be like just putting it in an ice bath and cooling it randomly. You want everything to settle down easily, because
so it'll rest for how long?
It'll probably rest till about for like an hour at room temperature.
Another 1 hour.
So 1 hour after it's cooked. And then I'm going to be keeping something heavy on. I'm going to take off all of the vegetables. I'm going to be taking out all of the juices of the pork that I'm cooking, and I'm going to further reduce it to till the time it coats the back of the spoon, and that's going to be my sauce for the belly. And the pork meat is going to be on a tray, which is just about an hour that we've kept it out to rest. And I'm going to be placing something heavy on it.
Like what, a stone or something?
No, not a stone. I'll be putting a tray, and I'm going to be putting heavy pans on it, like cast iron pans. So it kind of retains that shape. Like you see a bacon, it's all rectangular. It's a rectangular piece, which you see it in one linear form. So I'm going to make that happen after 1 hour of it setting out. I'm going to be placing 2 heavy pans over it, so that the skin and the fat kind of stays together. That could be about for an hour.
So another hour.
Another hour. So the complete cooking process will probably be 7 hours.
So that's a fascinating story, chef. And I've decided what Christmas gift I'm going to give, because I believe that Christmas is about love and care. And I can't think of any dish which talks of TLC or tender love and care as much as this pork. Because think about it. It's been marinated for 6 hours. It's then been braised in the oven for another 5 hours. So that's 6 plus 5, 11. It's rested for 1 more hour. So that's 12. Then it's been put on a heavy weight for 1 more hour. So that's 13 hours. Once you place an order, then it's cooked on a pan and then blasted in the oven for another half an hour. 13 and a half hours. If that's not a gift worth waiting for, then I can't think of what's worth it. So here's wishing you a Merry Christmas, and hope to see you soon on the Finely Chopped.